You're watching News Central now on News Central Television. I am Lekon Obanjo. The top stories at this hour. Mali, Niger and Burkina Faso approved to exit regional body. Supreme Court to hear suits challenging President Tinubu's qualification to contest 2023 presidential election. Death toll rises to 38 in El Fasher after drone attack. Details to come your way shortly. News Central now at this hour begins in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, where the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government has approved the exit of the three countries of Mali, Niger Republic and Burkina Faso from the Union from January 29, 2025. This was as the authority chaired by President Bola Tinubu met in Abuja to deliberate on recent events within the sub-region and profile strategies aimed at improving the well-being of citizens within the community.
It was the 66th Ordinary Summit of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government. In attendance were heads of state from ECOWAS member countries. The President of the ECOWAS Commission gave highlights of the current state of the community.
On the economic front, member states have shown resilience amid global and regional challenges. While global growth has slowed to 3.2% this year, ECOWAS countries are expecting a slightly improved average growth rate of 3.8% compared to 3.6% in 2023. However, inflation and public debt levels remain significant concern, highlighting the urgency of fiscal prudence and efficient debt management.
President Bola Tinubu, the chair of the authority, reminded member states of the objective of the community and their quest to achieve integration and prosperity.
Our gathering here today reaffirms the founding principles of our fathers and also of our organization, established to promote economic integration, peace and prosperity for our region through cooperation and solidarity.
The meeting then went into a closed-door session which lasted several hours. Upon resumption, agreement by the authority on the request by Mali, Niger and Burkina Faso to exit the sub-regional body was conveyed to all present.
The authority takes note of the notification by Burkina Faso, Republic of Mali, and the Republic of Niger of their decision to withdraw from ECOWAS. The authority acknowledges that in accordance with the provisions of Article 91 of the revised ECOWAS Treaty, the three countries will officially cease to be members of ECOWAS from 29 January 2025.
The authority has also set a space of 6 months as a transitional period during which the countries can be readmitted back into the Union. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadine Uyi.
In the meantime, the military regimes of Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger Republic have announced that their three countries are a visa-free zone for all nationals of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. This was disclosed in a statement read out on Malian public television by Mali's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Abdoulaye Diop. He, however, said that member states of the Confederation of Sahel States reserve the right to refuse entry into their territory to any national of the Sahel states who falls into the category of inadmissible immigrants.
La Fédération des États du Sahel, AES, est un espace sans visa pour tout ressortissant des États membres de la Communauté économique des États de l'Afrique de l'Ouest, CEDEAO. 2. Les ressortissants de la CEDEAO ont le droit d'entrer, de circuler, de résider, de s'établir et de sortir sur le territoire des États membres de la Confédération des États du Sahel dans le respect des textes nationaux en vigueur. 3. Toutefois, les États membres de la Confédération des États du Sahel se réservent le droit, conformément à leurs lois et règlements, de refuser l'entrée sur leur territoire à tout ressortissant de la CEDEAO entrant.
Staying with developments at the 66th ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government, President Bola Tinubu has called on West African leaders to emulate Ghana's recent peaceful elections, praising the democratic maturity displayed. He made this known at the summit in Abuja. Tinubu commended Ghana's outgoing president Nana Akufo-Addo and the vice presidents for accepting electoral defeat, setting a regional example of respect for voters' will. President Tinubu highlighted ECOWAS's strides in regional integration, counter-terrorism, and peacekeeping missions in nations like Guinea-Bissau. He urged renewed commitments to economic growth and security as ECOWAS nears its 50th anniversary. Leaders from across West Africa attended the summit, reinforcing the bloc's shared vision for unity and progress.
Congratulate President Nana Akufo-Addo and the people of Ghana for the successful election, and urge all of us in the region to learn from this good democratic practice and prioritize our country's national unity to ensure political stability of the region. That this manner of peaceful transition, because the culture of democracy is not only in West Africa, but also in the entire African continent. At this junction, let me take time and give a special validatory to one of us, Mr. Democrat. Attending ordinary session of the ECOWAS Authority of Head of State and Government, Your Excellency, President Nana Akufo-Addo of Ghana. Thank you for being who you are.
Meanwhile, Nigeria has paid its accrued debt owed the Economic Community of West African States to the tune of 85 billion naira. President of the ECOWAS Commission, Omar Toure, disclosed this in a statement at the opening of the 66th Ordinary Session of the ECOWAS Authority Heads of State and Government in Abuja. He said while the community had suffered slow response from member states in remitting their levies, Nigeria, under the leadership of President Tinubu, had cleared its levies from 2023 to date. The ECOWAS president also lauded the efforts of President Bola Tinubu, the federal government of Nigeria, for always supporting the efforts of the regional body.
And indeed, a very good news is that for the first time in 19 years, Nigeria has decided to pay 100% of its community levy from 2023. I am therefore pleased to announce that on Friday, 13th December 2024, Nigeria paid 85 billion naira and 54 million US dollars, representing 100% of the 2023 levy and the levy of 2024 up to July 2024. We all agree that this payment underscores the leadership and commitment of President Ahmed Tinubu, the government and the people of Nigeria to our community. At a more personal level, it represents a mark of confidence in the management that I have been privileged to lead since 2022.
Away from that to politics, the presidential candidate of the New Nigeria People's Party during the 2023 election, Rabiu Kokonso, met with former President Olusegun Obasanjo in Abeokuta, Ogun State. Kokonso met with Obasanjo at his Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library residence in Abeokuta, alongside former Governor of Cross River State, Donald Duke. The former Kano governor disclosed this in a post on his X handle. Kokonso explained that during the courtesy visit, there were deliberations on significant national issues, including the future of politics and governance in Nigeria. This is not the first time Kokonso would meet with the former president. To discuss this, we're joined by the National Publicity Secretary of the NNPP, Ladipo Johnson. Thank you so much, Mr. Johnson, for joining us on the news.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So for you, what significance does Rabiu Kokonso's meeting with former President Olusegun Obasanjo hold for the current political climate in Nigeria?
Well, it's for them, it's a normal thing to meet regularly, but it's a signal to Nigerians that people are talking, leaders are talking and considering the way forward for the country. Sometime by May next year, it will be midterm for this government, this administration. And so political parties, political leaders, and political analysts will begin to discuss the state of the economy, the state of the country, to know whether we're heading in the right direction and what needs to be done. So it was a timely visit, although, of course, President Obasanjo had come to Kano a few weeks back to attend Senator Kwankwaso's daughter's wedding. And so he was basically going to say thank you to him, but then they used the opportunity to sit down with His Excellency Donald Duke and the other two gentlemen as well.
Okay, so is Kokonso hoping or planning to contest in the 2027 presidential election? Because we've seen mergers or possible mergers and the talks brewing among opposition parties, but it doesn't seem as though Kokonso will be towing that path.
No, I think it's too early to say that he won't be towing the path of a coalition or a merger or contesting for that matter. The sentiments in the country in 2022, 2023 were what they were. The sentiments in the country today are what they are. So it depends. A lot of things depend on what will happen moving forward in the next year or two. As a politician and as one who has contributed positively to the growth of the country, he remains an interesting figure in quotes, because even if he decides not to contest, he will have a say as to which way the country will go. So it is good that he is involved, he is engaged. And I tell you, yes, we've seen this. There have been several meetings, there are meetings going on all the time, even with members of the APC. So as I said, politicians have begun to talk. Some will do it openly, some will not because of the parties they belong to or whatever the situation. But be assured, Nigerians should know that the yearnings of Nigerians about the state of the economy has led people to be more active and moving forward.
Before I let you go, some people have questioned the political relevance of Kokonso not going beyond Kano State or the northern region. Does he have that political strength to change the fortunes of NNPP in future elections?
Yes, I think those who say that do not really understand the dynamics of politics. Look at the American elections. People, they narrowed it down. People knew that Pennsylvania was key, Michigan was key. So those who say that do not understand. For instance, I've been working together with him and many, many others. I'm from Lagos. I'm not from Kano. So when you say it's just Kano, yes. If you look at how the APC came about, it started from somewhere, someone in one corner, another person in another corner. And then at a time, a merger came together. And we were part of that merger at that time as well. So you see, the important thing is to keep working, keep talking to the people, engaging and making sure that what you're doing is for the benefit of the people. The sentiments in the country come 2026, 25, 26 will determine the viable candidates for the presidency. That is what will happen.
All right, we'll wait till then. National Publicity Secretary for NNPP, Ladipo Johnson, thank you so much for your time on the news.
Thank you. Thank you.
Away from that, the Supreme Court will today, Monday, December 16, 2024, hear a suit seeking to remove President Bola Tinubu from office. The case, filed by Chief Ambrose Owuru, former presidential candidate of the Hope Democratic Party, challenges Tinubu's qualification to serve as president. Owuru alleges he won the 2019 presidential election and claims his mandate was denied due to a scheduling error in the Supreme Court. He also questions Tinubu's eligibility, citing a past $460,000 forfeiture in the U.S. over alleged drug-related charges and accusing him of CIA ties. The suit involving former Presidents Buhari, INEC, and Tinubu has sparked national interest as legal experts await the court's ruling. We go on a short break on the news. When we return, Nigerian military destroys Lakurawa's camps, neutralizes many terrorists. We'll be back in a bit. Join us again. Many thanks for staying with us. To security matters now. The Nigerian military says that it has intensified its offensives against new terrorist sect Lakurawa with the commencement of Operation Chase Lakurawas Out in the Jibia area of Katsina State, Safe area in Zamfara State, and Tangaza area in Sokoto State. This is following the arrival of the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, to Sokoto State to boost ongoing military operations. News Central's Emmanuel Bagudu reports.
The busy Sokoto-Gusau-Katsina road back to life after months of intense battle with terrorists who have unleashed terror on citizens and commuters in the area.
Dan ga kwanakin bayan da muka yi aikin gona muna cikin matsala mu je da gudu mu dawo da gudu amma yanzu cikin hukuncin Allah yanzu gaskiya alhamdulillah
wannan kwanakin a cikin wannan kwanakin an samu sauki amma a can baya kai a ce ma'aikata mun sha wahala amma yanzu alhamdulillah sabanin last year ko kuma 6 months da suka wuce banda su dauki mutanen rana da yamma amma gaskiya 2 months da suka wuce lafiya launi.
The General Officer commanding 8th Division of the Nigerian Army and Commander of Sector 2 Operation Fansanyama, Brigadier General Ibikunle Ajose, revealed that the operation tagged Operation Chase Lakurawas Out commenced about a week ago and has recorded significant successes. He says that this is evident as citizens have now returned to their different sources of livelihoods.
We commenced precursor operations under Operation Forest Sanity 3, a subsidiary operation of Operation Fasanyama, which we tagged Chase Lakurawas Out. It commenced about a week ago, and it has been very, very successful. We have cleared a number of forests. We have destroyed a number of their camps.
The commanding officer of the 4th operating base in Tangaza, Sokoto State, disclosed that recent clearance operations targeted at dislodging the Lakurawa terrorists has been successful.
We carry out clearance operation in the general area of Sarma, Boni, and Tona. The Lakurawas have an entry along Sarma village where they infiltrate into this local government. So, and they hibernate within that general area of Sarma and Boni, and also in Businia Forest. We are able to carry out that operation on the 1st of December, and we clear them in this local government and we were able to push them to the general area of Gudu, which on the 8th of December, we successfully finished the limited precaution operation.
Look, when you are talking of terrorists or whatever, here you cannot identify because we are one. We and the Niger, you cannot differentiate. We are all the same. Even myself here, I have one wife from Niger.
The officer lamented the challenges posed by local sympathizers and informants who collaborate with the terrorists.
There are a lot of sympathizers and also informants. Before we go out of any operation, these sympathizers and informants usually call and inform the terrorists about our patrols and whereabouts.
A set of special forces deployed by the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has arrived Sokoto on Thursday to complement the ongoing operations against the Lakurawas.
Staying with security matters, the federal government says it has recorded a major breakthrough in its fight against terrorism, securing over 200 convictions during Phase 6 terrorism trials at the Kanji Detention Facility from December 9 to 13, 2024. This was disclosed by the Office of the National Counter-Terrorism Center, Office of the National Security Advisor. Sentences ranged from the death penalty to life imprisonment and terms of between 20 and 70 years. Those convicted included individuals guilty of heinous crimes like attacks on civilians, abductions, and terrorism financing. The trials, overseen by the Office of the Attorney General and the National Counter-Terrorism Center, adhere to global judicial standards. Attorney General Lateef Fagbemi and NSA Nuhu Ribadu praised the judiciary and security forces, urging Nigerians to remain vigilant in ensuring national security. Away from security talks, we now tell you that Nigeria's federal government has called on citizens to embrace dialogue and mutual understanding as key foundations for rebuilding trust between the government and the people. This statement was made by the country's Minister of Budget and Economic Planning during the close-out event for the Project Trust Initiative and the launch of Connected Development's strategic 5-year plan. Our correspondent Joshua Imarai was at the event and filed in this report.
It was the close-out event for the Project Trust Initiative, facilitated by the pro-transparency group The Connected Development. The event, held in Nigeria's capital Abuja, was attended by the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning alongside other key players in the transparency space. Organizers say that the Project Trust Initiative was conceived to promote social accountability and transparency, ensuring that Nigerians can fully enjoy the dividends of democracy.
From the title of the presentation of the project itself, it's trying to emphasize how we can improve trust deficits. 87% of Nigerians believe that elected officials and election institutions cannot be trusted. So that's where the challenge is. We need to improve on that. We need to curb these things.
So for us is to continue to galvanize voices. And today you have representatives from the 6th geopolitical zone. What are the lessons we're learning? At the subnational level, how can we ensure that whatever happened at the national trickle down to the subnational and the local government? Today we have a local government autonomy, meaning that more resources will go to local government so that citizens will enjoy the dividends of democracy. But if there is no trust, then citizens would not accept what government is doing, and government will continue to isolate themselves.
Also speaking, Nigeria's Minister of Budget and Economic Planning urged citizens to engage more with government so as to build trust in governance.
The number one key to building trust is to remove presumptuousness so that we can listen to each other. We can maybe share, sympathize with each other, and generate an irreducible minimum consensus that we believe can mobilize and unify us.
At the end of the event, a 5-year strategic plan for the connected development was launched. In Abuja for News Central, I am Joshua Imarai.
The Central Bank of Nigeria has imposed a 150 million naira fine on banks involved in illegal distribution of mint naira notes to currency hawkers. This crackdown follows concerns over the increasing commodification of the naira, which hinders efficient cash distribution. In a statement by the Acting Corporate Communications Director, Sidi Ali Akama, the CBN reaffirmed that old 1,000 Naira, 500 Naira and 200 Naira notes remain legal tender as per a Supreme Court ruling. The CBN, through a circular by Acting Currency Operations Director Mohammed Olayemi, announced intensified spot checks and mystery shopping at ATMs and hawking hotspots. Repeat offenders face stricter penalties under BOFI Act 2020. Banks are urged to strengthen cash management controls to curb illicit transactions. Away from that, African leaders have been tasked to equip women on the continent with the right tools and resources to lead the continent's formal and green economy. This call was during the maiden edition of the African Women Sustainability Conference held in Abuja, the nation's capital, focusing on empowering women on the continent as catalysts for sustainable growth and development. Experts at the conference say, despite the contribution of women in business, especially the informal sector, they continue to face severe financing gaps amounting to about 42 billion naira.
Women constitute approximately 50% of Africa's population and own about 58% of Africa's MSMEs. Yet, according to the AFDB, we face a $42 billion financing gap. This isn't just unequal. Again, it's like leaving half of your talented players at the bench during the most important match of our time.
Women are the backbone of African informal economy. Still, we must go beyond recognition and equip them with the tools, resources, and opportunities to lead the formal and green economies. This conference is a call to action. It reminds us of the immense potential for green investment opportunities within the Federal Capital Territory. Let us ensure that our women entrepreneurs are equipped and empowered as catalysts for sustainable growth.
And from the center of power to the east, the management of Enyimba FM radio station in Abia is calling on the Abia state government to consider the plight of its staff should the station stop airing. Abia state government on Wednesday sealed off the permanent site of Enyimba radio station in Abia, still under construction, with the claim that the structure is meant for a different thing. But Michael Oni, the station manager, denied the claims, describing them as unfounded. Governor Alex Oti has also directed the authorities involved to investigate the matter properly before further actions are taken.
Asked both the Greater Abia Development Agency and Abia Town Planning Authority to hold on until we get the facts of the case. Okay? Clearly, we made a belief to say that the radio station nor the TV station were involved in the hotel and that business also. And we also advise the radio station to stay away from things that are concerned.
The building under contention is not a hotel. The building belongs to Enyimba TV and Radio Limited, and it is to house our studios, offices, and other equipment that should befit a state-of-the-art radio and TV station. Also, we show you how much of damage that we've incurred since the fire incident and how we're trying to manage. At least we should understand that if we are not on air, some persons will go hungry. There are breadwinners working with this organization.
And now to health. People often get ill and go to the hospital for medical attention. For many, the first point of Medicare is the tertiary facility, while some consider the secondary health care that are close to their houses. Only a handful choose the primary health centers, either because of financial constraints and for their children's vaccinations. In this special report, News Central's Chumilgede takes a look at the primary health centers and the services they render.
Facilities in different communities in Umahia North local government area of Abia State. Some are in good condition, while others fall short of what a standard health facility should be. With over 1,000 primary health centers in Abia State, Medicare should be very easily accessed in every community.
Health posts, we have health clinics, and the primary health care centers. So there are three categories. We can boast of 292 World Health Centers that are well equipped.
We have free delivery, free ANC. Even Abia State government provides malaria drugs, and we give, if we test the person and it is positive, we give free malaria drugs here.
As the only stage of healthcare service that is free of charge in the state, many people are expected to key into the program. I even got a chance to be tested for malaria virus free of charge in one of the centers using the testing kit. Those who subscribe to the health centers attest to its usefulness and efficiency in times of emergencies.
Now my baby is sick, and immediately I brought him here. Our nurse explained everything to me, which I understand very perfectly.
When I fall sick, I first consult the primary health center, in my community.
In communities such as Nkataibeku, Ajata, Okuta, there are just a handful of those who have enrolled for the free primary health care. Not having enough manpower spread across the primary health facilities is a major challenge.
Our governor is addressing the issue of infrastructure, is addressing the issue of equipment, but where we have a problem is the Jagba syndrome and the human resources for health. And I want to believe that if we're able to fix the other two that we are working on now, this other one won't be a problem.
Recently, Governor Alex Oti disclosed that Abia State emerged second in the Southeast Zone in the Primary Healthcare Leadership Challenge and won the UNICEF prize of $400,000.
The first time we're winning that prize. Last year we also came second. We are hoping that in the next year we will maybe be the first position.
Hopefully, these funds will be channeled to the rehabilitation of some of these dilapidated centers in some communities, construction of staff quarters, provision of security, procurement of more equipment, and recruitment of doctors and nurses. In Omaha for News Central, I am Chinwe Ugeli.
Still talking health, the African Coalition of Tuberculosis in Nigeria has called for a multi-sectoral approach to combating tuberculosis in the country. Health stakeholders, while making this call during the National Tuberculosis Conference, which was held in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, called for more government commitment, grassroots participation, private sector involvement, and media participation in addressing this public health issue. Coming up on the news. Sudan drone attack. Death toll rises to 38 in El Fasher. Do stay with us. We'll bring you more details in a bit. Focusing on Africa now, ECOWAS has endorsed the creation of a special tribunal for Gambia to prosecute crimes committed during Yahya Jammeh's 22-year dictatorship. In a statement on Sunday, the bloc emphasized the court's role in ensuring justice for human rights violations between July 1994 and January 2017. This marks the first collaboration between ECOWAS and a member state to establish such a tribunal. Jammeh's regime was notorious for severe rights abuses and misappropriation of state funds, according to rights groups and Gambia's government. Jammeh fled the country in 2017 after losing to current President Adama Barrow in a landmark election. The tribunal aims to deliver accountability for the victims of his oppressive rule. We now head to the east of the continent, where the death toll from a drone strike on a market in El Fasher, western Sudan, has risen to 38. This was revealed by a local NGO, the Coordination of Resistance Committees. The attack, attributed to the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, targeted the Al-Lad Al-Rif neighborhood market. Earlier reports by state news agency SUNA confirmed over 15 fatalities, with many others injured. The RSF has not commented on the incidents. Since clashes erupted in April 2023 between the RSF and Sudanese armed forces, more than 28,700 people have been killed and over 14 million displaced, according to the international organizations. The violence continues to devastate the region, deepening Sudan's humanitarian crisis. In Central Africa, a summit between the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda has been abruptly cancelled after the latest round of talks to end fighting in the eastern DRC was deadlocked. The talks between delegations from both sides stalled overnight over Rwanda's demand that the DRC open direct dialogue with the Kigali-backed M23 rebel group that has seized swaths of the eastern DRC since 2021, displacing thousands and triggering a humanitarian crisis. There had been high hopes that DRC leader Felix Tshisekedi and his Rwandan counterpart Paul Kagame would sign a peace deal at a summit hosted by Angolan President João Lourenço, the African Union designated mediator in the dispute between the neighboring countries. But after the talks stalled late on Sunday, Rwandan officials said Kagame decided not to travel to Luanda for the meeting.
O acordo foi negociado a 99%, praticamente, tendo havido entendimentos sobre as questões-chave, que são três questões-chave. A primeira questão-chave é a desmobilização, o desengajamento das forças. A segunda questão-chave era a neutralização dos FDLR. E a terceira questão-chave é a questão do grupo M23. Portanto, Sua Excelência, o Presidente João Manuel Gonçalves Lourenço, teve, portanto, a sabedoria de fazer consultas com o Presidente Tshisekedi e o Presidente Owuru para verem junto como é que vamos, portanto, andar com o processo no próximo dia. O único parágrafo, portanto, que é do acordo, que era preciso negociar a nível de ministros, e sobre o qual os ministros negociaram até muito tarde ontem, não tendo chegado a...
Still ahead. Despite losing the presidential election to Republican Donald Trump, Kamala Harris pledges to continue work in 2025. The details of this story and the rest will come your way in a short while. Join us again. Outside of the African continent, U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris has pledged to continue to work in 2025 despite losing the presidential election to Republican Donald Trump. Speaking at the Democratic National Committee's holiday reception in Washington, Harris emphasized hope and determination for the future, signaling her commitment to the Democratic Party's mission moving forward. The remarks come as the Biden-Harris administration prepares to transition out of office following a contentious election cycle. Harris's speech reflects the Democratic Party's resolve to push ahead with its agenda and maintain its influence in shaping the nation's future, despite the electoral setback.
And in the new year, we will continue our work with hope, with determination, and with joy. Remember, our country is worth fighting for, and our spirit will not be defeated. And I promise you, I will be with you every step of the way. Thank you.
The one thing I've always believed about public service, and especially about the presidency, is the importance of asking yourself, have we left the country better shape than we found it? Today, I can say with every fiber of my being, with all my heart, the answer to that question.
I'll tell you that South Korea's ruling party chief has announced his resignation following the impeachment of President Yoon Suk-yeol over his attempts over his brief attempts to impose martial law. Han Dong-hong, addressing a televised press conference, admitted fearing bloodshed if martial law had not been lifted promptly. President Yoon, suspended by Parliament on Saturday, faces investigations into alleged insurrection and abuse of power by prosecutors, police and anti-corruption investigators. He has refused multiple summons for questioning, prompting potential legal action. South Korea's constitutional court has begun proceedings to decide within 6 months whether to uphold the impeachment. If found guilty, Yoon and his associates could face life imprisonment or the death penalty. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Han Duck-soo is serving as interim leader with fresh elections required if Yoon's removal is confirmed.
그날 밤 계엄을 해제하지 못했다면 다음 날 아침부터 거리로 나온 우리 시민들과 우리 젊은 군인들 사이에 유혈 사태가 벌어졌을 수 있습니다. 그날 밤 저는 그런 일을 막지 못할까봐 너무나도 두려웠습니다. 아무리 우리 당에서 배출한 대통령이 한 것이라도 우리가 군대를 동원한 불법 계엄을 옹호하는 것처럼 오해받는 것은 산업화와 민주화를 동시에 해낸 이 위대한 나라와 그 국민을 보수의 정신을 우리 당의 빛나는 성취를
Another break will do here. When we return, we'll bring you business and sports news. Stay with us. The Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission has vowed to drive Nigeria's economic growth by safeguarding existing investments and luring new ones through strategic partnerships. We bring you details in this business package.
The Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission, NIPC, has reaffirmed its commitment to boosting Nigeria's economic growth by retaining existing investments and attracting new ones through a series of strategic partnerships. The NIPC Executive Secretary Aisha Rimi told newsmen in Abuja on Sunday that the initiatives aligned with President Bola Tinubu's 8-point agenda. Rimi restated the NIPC's role in creating an enabling environment for investors, emphasizing the importance of collaboration with stakeholders, including state governments, international partners, and the private sector. To ensure the objective of preventing and checkmating corruption within the system, members of the Anti-Corruption and Transparency Unit at the Federal Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy have taken oaths of compliance. At a brief ceremony held in the ministry, the head of the Anti-Corruption Unit of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, Nkem Ezemwa, administered the oath of allegiance to the Marine and Blue Economy ACTU unit team. At the inauguration, the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy, Oloruntola Olufemi, called on the new MM and BEACTU members to exhibit zero tolerance for corruption and any other offensive practices which is related to financial embezzlement within the established system of the ministry.
In sports, Rivers United reclaimed top spot in the Nigeria Premier Football League with a thrilling 2-1 comeback victory over Kwara United. The hard-fought win saw the Port Harcourt side leapfrog their rivals Remo Stars following a 1-1 draw in the Ikorodu City versus Remo Stars clash at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena in Lagos. While Rivers United remain strong title contenders, Kwara United sit in 13th position, struggling to gain momentum. The 1-1 draw places Remo Stars second, while Ikorodu City dropped to 6th in the standings. And that's all at this hour, but before we go, we'll look at our major stories again. Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso approved to exit regional body. Supreme Court to hear suits challenging President Tinubu's qualification to contest 2023 presidential election. We also told you that death toll rises to 38 in El Fasher after drone attack. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times, channel 274, Evo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Lekon Onabanjo.